The Game Academy is always mine.
We get people playing this format at their shop and keep it from becoming competitive.
Okay.
Well, that's the giant question. The points format that we run at Armada Games in Tampa, Florida, that's ArmadaGames.com,
Right.
makes it that way because you can win without actually winning.
Okay. So you have like some alternate win conditions.
There are alternate. Well, there are point conditions, and then you total up. If you cast 3 spells in a row that are your initials.
Right. If there are some folks who want to check out that format, I know you've written some articles. Like, what would be a good web reference to go and look at that format?
You could either go to you could go to the official EDH forums.
Okay.
DragonHighlander.net. You could go to ArmadaGames.com, and they talk about that there on the forums. I wrote an article some time back on Channel Fireball about it, and I've mentioned it at least in passing on some of the recent Star City Games articles.
Okay. So people could go and figure out if it's for them.
It's that for them.
Let's
and of course they can just email me.
Let's go just a little bit different direction. This is like one of the things I've been wanting to do since I met you. Give us an origin story. Like, I want to hear the origin story about where this is. How it all started.
I was stationed at Anchorage Air Force Base, Alaska.
Okay.
The Air Force, and as a great gaming group up there. Usually hosted every Monday night and then some other nights of the week by a great guy named David Pfeiffer.
Okay.
And we would gather at David's place on Mondays to do gamer geek stuff. Sometimes we would paint miniatures. Sometimes we would play Risk 2210. Sometimes we would play Magic. Sometimes we would do this, that, and the other. And one day, one of them said, Adam Staley, one of the guys in the group, created this kind of awesome Magic format, and we need 5 players because each of us is going to play one of the Elder Dragons. And then they explained the very basic rules. It was, and at that point, it was truly Highlander. So there was no extra basic lands.
Right.
One island, one swamp, one plains. The only banned cards at that time were non-basic land hate, so you couldn't play Back to Basics or Ruination or whatever.
Ooh, I'd almost like to return to those days.
Okay.
I like that, but go ahead.
But of course, those days there weren't so many good non-basic lands either. It was relatively difficult to make a deck with enough cards in it that had the right basic lands. You ended up playing some pretty crappy lands back then. Since then we've gotten through, Ravnica block, especially, gave us a lot of great, and Invasion block gave us a lot of great dual lands.
Sure.
So, the scape shift has gotten much nicer since then. And I played a little with the group up there, and I think our group got outside of 5 after a while. There were 7, 8, 9, so we had to. It's like, all right, what are we going to do? Who's going to have a general that's not one of the 5 Elven Dragons? So we changed it to Legends, and it was a thing that we did occasionally. It was just, it was really sort of an afterthought format.
Okay.
And then when I transferred in 2003 to Virginia, to Langley Air Force Base, one of the guys in the local group where I lived in Suffolk emailed me and said, hey, I read in one of your Star City articles that you're moving to Virginia and we have a small group and blah blah blah. Come play with us. So we played. I went and played with them a little bit, and they were casual players, great guys. Justin Norris, Chuck Weaver, Brian Ponzer, Todd Hewson, just great guys who were kitchen table Magic players.
Okay.
And I said, there's this format. You think you'd be interested? And as soon as I outlined the format, they were like, wow, what a great idea. I said, well, I think there's some changes I'd like to make to the format. Because Biorhythm at the time was like an insta-win card.
Okay.
One guy'd play Wrath, you'd play a Llanowar Elf, and Biorhythm, and kill everybody.
That'd be game, right?
the game was 200 life divided by the number of players in the game. So if you played 1v1, you started at 100 life.
Sure.
So
those games took pretty long.
Sometimes they took a long time. So I took some time, really sort of thinking about the format, and we played a lot of games there at my house in Virginia. And one day I said, this is an interesting enough format. I think I'd like to take it to the guys in the Pro Tour. And I think I had written an EDH article on Star City, doing a contest to build a Lord of Tressorhorn deck.
Right. I went back and looked through some of that stuff. Would you say that's the first article that ever appeared on the web about EDH?
Yes, certainly.
Okay. So that was like the one that kind of started the mass media campaign.
Yeah, exactly. Do I get any royalties for that?
Well,
should I be expecting a check at any time?
We'll have to look at that.
Okay. Speaking of which, never mind. The 6 of us in Virginia were having a fun time with it, and then I took it to the Pro Tour, and some of the as soon as the judges got a hold of it, they were like, "Holy crap, format for us."
Sure.
EDH at that point was, and kind of today, is the dollar rare format.
Sure, it just kind of struck a chord with those guys, and the grassroots effort was born on the judge circuit.
And we just started playing, and suddenly Judge Drafts became Judge EDHing. And one of the Pro Tours, I think Atlanta, which was the first Pro Tour I head judged, Scott Larrabee decided he wanted, the DCI tournament manager Scott Larrabee decided he wanted to play. And I gave him my Lord of Tressorhorn deck that had been the contest winner. And about 10 seconds in, he's like, "I'm hooked."
It's the greatest thing ever.
It's the greatest thing ever. And from then, the explosion just happened. I mean, we would play for hours on end at the Pro Tour. After working all day, judges playing half the night. And it's just this wild, wacky things that you never see happen in any other game of Magic happen.
Right.
And it really came home to roost a couple months ago when I was at Gen Con, and Scott and Brian David Marshall and I were in the trading card hall looking for a place, and I talked to the judges there. It's like, where's a space that you're not using that we can play some EDH?
Sure.
And he gave us some table numbers. Like, go to table 168. So as we were walking along, we passed by poker star David Williams, and he's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" It's like, "We're gonna go play some EDH." He said, "Well, if you lend me a deck, I'll play."
Jump in. That's how it usually starts, right? Is
lend me a deck.
I don't have one of those, but let me check it out.
And the unbridled joy that Dave got out of playing this game. I mean, this is a guy that loves Magic.
Right.
Here's a guy who could be, snorting caviar off the bellies of strippers anytime he wants. And
I don't know if that's a good thing, but it sounds like he has some options.
He has some options. And here he is. What he wants to do on a Saturday night? Play EDH with us.
Sure.
And just guys that love Magic, and I know Dave just loves playing Magic. Guys that love Magic, not for the competition, not for beating other people, but just love the game, just love EDH.
Right.
And he said, I'm going to shuffle this deck. I'm not even going to look through it before I start playing it. I want to
just see what happens.
I want to discover what happens. And
right.
It's like, oh, I didn't realize you could play that card.
Right.
And I mean, that's the format. That's the draw of the format. And I'm going to do everything in my considerable power to make sure that it stays that way. To see that there are a lot of smiles around EDH tables.
Nice. All right. Well, we really appreciate your time. You have a big party that you're hosting, and took some time out for the love of the game. So we'll throw this up, and I'm sure people will love to hear like how EDH got started, and follow the philosophical advice of the game's godfather. All right. That's Sheldon Menery, and thanks for taking time with us, Sheldon.
Thanks for having the channel.
So that's my opinion of white.
Thinking black. Yeah, here we go. Would you take that?
I would
Definitely take that one.
White is completely unplayable. After Bookmaster, there's nothing in commons. The uncommons are mediocre.
There on Skull Crusher Mountain. I hope that you've enjoyed your stay so far. I see you met my assistant.